Not all of us are really good at using coordinating conjunctions, so I wanted to put together a quick video that would help our students learn how coordinating conjunctions work. Sometimes we refer to them as fanboys, and on the screen you can see why, because most of the common coordinating conjunctions can be one of 7 conjunctions: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. And we can shorten that up to fanboys. So far, so good? What do conjunctions do? Well, conjunctions have 4 big jobs. One of the jobs that conjunctions have is that they connect subjects. Sometimes they connect objects, and we'll talk more about what objects are. They connect verbs, and they can also connect complete thoughts. And when they connect complete thoughts, we use a comma with them. All right, so let's keep scrolling through this. So 2 of the main jobs of coordinating conjunctions would be connecting subjects and connecting verbs. Let's talk about when they connect subjects. We can see here, there's a coordinating conjunction, a fanboy, and it's connecting the subjects Jason and Laura. What did Jason and Laura do? They picked up a table. So here is our complete subject. There's our coordinating conjunction, and they're working together. Here's another example where there is a conjunction connecting 2 subjects. At lunch, the iPhone and the water bottle fell on the floor. What did something here? Well, the iPhone and the water bottle fell. So here is our subject, iPhone and water bottle, and this conjunction is connecting them. Next, David or Esther will pick up the mail. Here is our subject, because David or Esther, one of those 2 things, one of those 2 people, will pick up the mail. So our conjunction here is or. So in all 3 sentences, the function of the conjunction was to connect subjects. They can also, probably shouldn't have scrolled just yet. They can also connect verbs. So a verb is like what is being done in the sentence. So Jason spoke and wrote. You can see in this sentence, Jason is doing 2 things. The 2 things he is doing are connected by the conjunction and. In the next sentence, Laura ran and walked. There's our conjunction. The function of this one is connecting verbs, the things that Laura did. In the next sentence, David was hungry and made a sandwich. So in this sentence, David is doing 2 things. David is a subject. He's doing 2 things. He's existing as hungry, and he's making a sandwich. Those 2 things that he's doing are connected by the fanboy, the conjunction, and. And one more example where the conjunction is connecting the verbs. The newspaper reporter interviewed the governor and wrote an article. What 2 things is the reporter doing? He's interviewing and writing. And the word connecting them, the conjunction connecting them, is and. So in all 4 of these sentences, the function of the conjunction was to connect the verbs of the sentence. All right, so this one is probably the trickiest, and it's not super difficult, but it's kind of new for many of us. So in sentences, there are often these things called objects, and these objects receive the action of the verb. It's really easy to illustrate when we have something like Ryan kicked the ball. The subject is Ryan. The verb is kicked. What received the action? The ball, right? The ball received the action of having been kicked. So in that instance, it's really easy to see what the object is, but it's not always that easy to see what's receiving the action. So here's a really easy one. Jason kicked the ball and wall. So we've got an angry Jason. He's kicking 2 things, and those 2 things are connected with the object, with the fanboy and, or the conjunction and. Here's another example. Tommy watered the tree and shrubs. So here's a subject, Tommy. What did Tommy do? He watered. What received the action of watering? What are the objects? The tree and the shrubs are the objects, and the shrub and the trees are connected by the conjunction and. Michelle likes tacos and cookies for dinner. Michelle sounds like a fun person. Michelle likes tacos and cookies. So what is the subject? Michelle is the subject. What is the verb? She exists in the state of liking something. And the things that receive the action are tacos and cookies. And you can see that these objects are connected by the conjunction and. One more example. I think this one is pretty easy to tell what objects are receiving the action. Katie examined the microscope and a beaker. Subject is Katie. Verb is examined. What did she examine? A microscope and a beaker. And those are our objects. Here is our conjunction. So far, so good. This is the most difficult part, just because objects are often new to us, the idea of objects. All right, so one more example or one more function of conjunctions, that is connecting complete ideas. And in grammar, this is the 4 C's, because, you ready for this? When we connect complete ideas, we use a comma and a conjunction. So here we go. Celine was the winner and the school celebrated. Here you have 2 ideas that could exist as individual sentences. So we're going to separate them with a comma and a conjunction. The first idea that could be its own sentence is Celine was the winner. Here's the second idea in that same sentence that could be its own sentence. The school celebrated. Since we're putting these 2 ideas into one sentence, we're going to separate them with a comma and a conjunction. Here's another example. So in this sentence, there are 2 complete ideas that could exist as their own sentences. So what we do is we combine them with a comma and a conjunction. Pam should study for the test so she can do well in Spanish. So we have Pam should study for the test. There's the first idea. That's a complete sentence all on its own. She can do well in Spanish. That is a complete idea. It could be a complete sentence all on its own. So when we combine them, comma and conjunction. Here's one more example. See if you can do it. See if you can find the complete ideas. The iPhone was on sale, comma, but I could not afford the lower price. So iPhone was on sale. I could not afford the lower price. Those are the 2 complete ideas. They are combined with a comma and a conjunction. All right. If I can rewind, you'll notice that there are conjunctions in these sentences, but I don't have commas in them. Why is that? Because we only use a comma and conjunction when we're combining 2 complete ideas that could exist as their own sentences. So we see here, David was hungry and made a sandwich. There's no comma here because the idea made a sandwich could not exist as its own complete sentence. David was hungry could exist as its own sentence, but this one could not. And you'll see that for all of our examples that do not have commas. Here we have the newspaper reporter interviewed the governor and wrote an article. While this could live as its own sentence, this one would not. Wrote an article, that's not a full sentence. I hope this review has been helpful in reminding you of the 4 primary functions of conjunctions, and I hope it helps you as you go on and practice some No Red Ink.